The Journey of the Lantern. In a small, quaint village nestled between the mountains and the sea, there lived a young boy named Finn. Finn was known throughout the village for his kindness, and his boundless curiosity about the world beyond the rolling hills and endless waves that surrounded his home. Every evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Finn would sit on the highest hill, watching the lanterns flicker in the windows of the village below, and dreaming of the adventures he might have one day. One day, while exploring the old forest on the edge of the village, Finn stumbled upon a peculiar sight. Hidden beneath a thick cluster of wildflowers lay an old, forgotten lantern. It was unlike any lantern he had ever seen, with delicate carvings of stars and moons etched into its metal frame, and a small inscription in a language he did not recognize. Despite its age, the lantern seemed to glow faintly, as if it still held a spark of life within. Finn carefully picked up the lantern and decided to bring it home. That night, as he placed it by his bedside, he whispered a quiet wish, "I wish I could see the world beyond our village." As he drifted into sleep, a soft, warm light began to emanate from the lantern, and suddenly, he was no longer in his room. He found himself standing in the middle of a vast desert, under a sky filled with more stars than he had ever seen. The sand beneath his feet was warm, and the air was filled with the scent of jasmine. In the distance, he saw a figure approaching. It was an old man with a long, white beard and a smile that seemed to hold the wisdom of 1,000 stories. "Welcome, young traveler," the man said, his voice gentle and calm. "You have found the Lantern of Journeys. It will take you where your heart desires." Finn's eyes widened with excitement. "Will it take me to see the world?" he asked eagerly. The old man nodded. "Yes, but remember, every journey comes with lessons. Some will be joyful, and others may be difficult, but all are part of your path." With a wave of his hand, the old man vanished, and Finn found himself in a new place, standing on the cobblestone streets of a bustling city. The air was filled with the sound of laughter, the clatter of horse hooves, and the scent of freshly baked bread. Finn wandered through the streets, marveling at the sights and sounds of the city. He met a group of children playing in the square, and they quickly became friends. They taught him their games, and shared stories of their adventures in the city. For the first time, Finn felt the joy of being in a place so different from his village. Days turned into weeks, and Finn traveled from place to place with the lantern as his guide. He sailed across vast oceans, climbed snowy mountains, and explored ancient forests. He met people from all walks of life, wise elders, playful children, skilled artisans, and brave explorers. Each encounter taught him something new, about courage, kindness, perseverance, and the importance of listening to one's heart. But not all of Finn's journeys were easy. One day, he found himself in a dark, stormy forest. The trees loomed tall and menacing, their branches reaching out like claws. The wind howled, and the rain poured down in sheets, drenching him to the bone. Finn felt a knot of fear in his chest. He had never felt so alone. He took out the lantern, hoping for some comfort, but its light was dim, barely flickering. He sat under a tree, shivering, and thought of his village, his family, and the warm, safe feeling of home. For a moment, he considered wishing to return, but then he remembered the old man's words, "Every journey comes with lessons." He took a deep breath, steadied his heart, and decided to keep moving, trusting that the storm would pass. And indeed, it did. As the rain slowed and the wind calmed, a path appeared before him, illuminated by the soft, warm glow of his lantern, which seemed to shine brighter than before. Finn realized that sometimes, it takes going through the darkness to truly appreciate the light. Finally, after what felt like years of traveling, Finn found himself back on the hill overlooking his village. He was older now, a little taller, with eyes that held a depth and understanding he had not possessed before. The lantern, which had been his guide, was now dim, its light fading slowly. He realized that its journey with him had come to an end. He placed the lantern gently on the ground, and whispered a quiet, "Thank you." As he did, the lantern gave one last bright glow and vanished, leaving behind a small, silver star that rested in his palm. Finn smiled, knowing that the lantern's light would always be with him, even if it was no longer visible. As he walked down the hill toward his village, he felt a sense of peace and fulfillment. He had seen the world, learned its lessons, and discovered that the greatest journey was not just in exploring faraway places, but in understanding oneself. From that day on, Finn shared his stories with the villagers, filling their nights with tales of wonder, bravery, and the wisdom he had gained. And though the lantern was gone, its light continued to shine in his heart, guiding him through the rest of his days.